So from the contactor, you tap one power from the contactor to one side of the start push button to the number one side of the stop push button. From the stop push button, you connect one cable from number one side, which is this piece, number one. Then you connect another cable from the number two side. Welcome to Electrician CEWP. Where there is light, there is hope. In this video, we are going to look at how to wire direct online connection with a contactor, one stop push button, and one start push button. Stop and start push button. This is our RCCBO, our contactor. We don't have motor at the moment, so this lamp here is our motor. These are the cables we'll be using. So now let's take a look at the wiring diagram first. This our contactor here is 220 volts, which is a single phase contactor. 220 volts, which is a single phase contactor. So let's take a look at the diagram before we start with the wiring. From line 1, it comes straight to our stop push button. Number one on our stop push button. And from number 1 on our stop push button, you go to number 2 on our stop push button. From number 2 on our stop push button, you go straight to number 3. Number 3 on our start push button. Number 3 on our start push button. From number 3 on our start push button, we tap another cable from this side straight to number 13 on the contactor. Straight to number 13 on the contactor. Then number 4 on the start push button. You connect from number 4 on the start push button to neutral, which is A2. And then you connect from the you connect from the contactor. The contactor you connect from 14. You connect from 14 on the contactor to A2 on the contactor. 14 on the contactor to A2 on the contactor. And then you tap the neutral from the neutral to A1 on the contactor. So let's start the wiring so that you can understand it more better. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, and also comment. Let's start with the wiring. We have our contactor, our RCBO, our lamp here, our start and our stop push button. So now let's start. So now let's start with the supply, the life, which is this is our life. We connect it to the RCBO, and then we connect our neutral to the RCBO here. After that, then we connect another life and neutral from this side of the RCBO. Another life and neutral. One life here. One life here. One neutral here to the RCBO. Now let's wire the contact. After that, then we come to the push button. So here we tap to neutral from the main breaker to one line on the contactor. If this contactor is a single phase contactor, that is why I am putting the neutral on the lines. But if it is a three-phase contactor, don't connect the neutral here. The neutral must go to A2. And most three-phase motor don't use neutral. It's a single-phase motor, that is why I'm connecting the neutral here. So please take note. We tap two neutral from the main breaker to one line on the contactor. To A1. To A1 on the contactor. So from 14 on the contactor to A1. From number 14 on the contactor to A2. From number 14 on the contactor to A2, which is our. So from number 14 on our contactor to A2. 14 to A2 and neutral to A1. So 14 to A2, neutral to A1, 14 to A2, neutral. We are now done with the contactor. Let's start with the push button. Let's start with the stop push button from the number one side on the stop push button. Before we connect our push button, let's connect our light first. We connect two lights on the contactor. One from the main breaker to the contactor and one for the contactor. We connect two lights. These two lights, one from the main breaker to the contactor and from the contactor to the start push button. So from the contactor, you tap one power from the contactor to one side of the start push button to the number one side of the stop push button. From the stop push button, you connect one cable from number one side, which is this piece, number one. Then you connect another cable from the number two side. You connect another cable from the number two side, which is this our number two here. So you connect one power from the contactor to number one side of the stop push button. Then connect another cable from number two side of the stop push button to here. Then we are done with our stop push button. Let's start with our start push button. And this is our start push button. So number three on our start push button. Number 3 on, we connect one cable here, and then we connect one cable on the number 3. We connect one cable on number 3 of our start push button. And then we connect another cable. And then we connect another cable from the number 3 of the start push button to number 13. To number 13 on the contactor. To our number 13 on the contactor. After that, number 4 on the start push button. We connect another cable to it on our start push button, number 4 on our start push button. Then we connect another cable from number 4 on our start push button, this side. Number 4 on our start push button to A2, which is our neutral. To A2, which is our neutral here. To A2 on the contactor. from number 4 on our start push button to A2 on our contactor. So number 4 on our start push button to A2 on our start push button. Now we are done with the wire. Now we are done with our wire. So now let's connect. We don't have motor yet, so let's connect this port as our motor. So we connect one. This is our life. We connect one here as our life and one here for our neutral. Now we connect our lamp holder here, life and neutral here. We are done connecting our lamp here. So let me do a recap of what we have done. From the main supply, this is our main supply, and we tap one power from the contactor to number 1 side on stop push button on the contactor, then another cable from number 2 side of the stop push button to number 3 side of the start push button. From the number 3 side of the start push button, we tap another cable from there to number 13 on our contactor. Then from number 4 on the start push button to our A2 on the contactor. So now we are done with the connection. Let's see whether the circuit will work or not. Now the RCD is on. Now the RCD is on. You can see that there is power in it. You can see that there is power. And this is the neutral. There is no power. So on our start push button, you can see there is power. There is power on our start push button. There is power on this side too. And our start push button, there is no power. There is power. There should be power at one side. There should not be power at the other side, unless you press on it before the power will flow. Start push button. See, when I press on it, the light is on. This light is still on. If I press on the start push button, the light is on. If I press on the stop push button, it's off. If I press on the start push button, it's on. You can see the contactor shooting. You can see the contactor is up here. If I press on the stop push button, it will go inside. You can see the contactor is in. So watch the contactor out. This is the lamp here. So on.